Alright guys, in this video we're talking about the PS5, more specifically, the decision to go with a disc-based PS5 model or the digital-only version of the PS5. I wanted to talk about this because I came across a really interesting Reddit post on the PS5 subreddit where an individual says that they regret buying the digital PS5. And this post seemingly exploded where there's just people coming in droves talking about this and kind of reacting to it and giving their thoughts on it. And I thought that we could just kind of go over it here, listen to what this individual's saying, and read some interesting replies, as well as just me kind of giving my thoughts on, the decision to go with a digital only console or a digital only PS5 versus going with a disc based one. So before we get into it, do me a favor, be sure to hit the like button to help this video out and show your support. It really helps the videos a lot. If you're new here to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and while you're at it, leave a comment down below letting me know if you have a PS5, whether you went with the disc version or the digital only version. And if you don't have a PS5, let me know which one you would go for. So again, this is going over to the PS5 subreddit where user representative Yam65 said, "I regret buying a digital PS5. I got my digital PS5 in February of 2021. Why did I go digital? Because I noticed that I would buy nearly all of my games on the PSN store when they were on deep discount. I'm patient with games, I can wait. However, lately I've been having the itch to play newer games. I wanted to wait until Horizon Forbidden West got a price drop, but was anxious to play it and thought, do I want to wait 6 months to save 20 and just bought it for 80 here in Germany. Then I looked and found that you can buy it on disc for as little as 35. I think the digital PS5 would be fine for people who don't need the newest titles or just have a crap load of money to burn, but having the games on disc means I can get newer titles much cheaper and can sell them afterwards if you don't plan on replaying them anytime soon. Even if you want to replay something a few years later, they'll be super cheap. Does anyone else have regrets? Has anyone else sold their digital PS5 to buy a disc one?" Now, I don't think this user was anticipating that this post would garner this much attention, but I think it's a genuinely interesting post, and I think it's something that does highlight kind of the downside of deciding to go with a digital only console. I mean, he says here that he's patient and is usually willing to wait to play games, but seeing games like Horizon Forbidden West, he realized maybe he's not as patient as he thought he was, and he's learning that he is going to miss out now on really significant deals, such as paying full price for Horizon Forbidden West versus if you wanted to buy it on disc, you could save a significant amount of money. This is just one of, I think, a few downsides to going digital only. I don't think there's anything wrong with an individual deciding that they want to go digital only, mainly because if that's something you're comfortable with and you don't mind, then no problem, right? But for others, there are a lot of different reasons why they're not going to go digital only. And something I noticed with the responses in this thread is that most people here are advocating for physical media. A lot of people basically explaining why they're just never going to buy a digital only console. The top response I've come across on this thread is an individual saying, "I wanted the disc version so I can buy secondhand games and also to play my Blu-rays in 4K. The $100 difference is negligible with a console you can use for almost a decade. Of course, you can take what you can get with these shortages though." And I think that that's an important thing to kind of highlight with this conversation is the majority of the PS5 consoles that Sony has produced and likely will continue to produce are disc-based version consoles. It's a lot harder to find and secure a digital-only console, but I wouldn't be surprised if when the shortage isn't really a problem anymore, if Sony decides to start producing more digital-only consoles. It really also depends on what people are choosing to purchase. But another individual here says, "I bought my disc version since I love my PS4 games. I play PS4 games more than any PS5 games currently, and it's so nice having shorter load times and overall looking really polished." So this was something that I saw quite a few people saying where, look, I have a PS4 collection. I'm coming from the PS4 to the PS5, and there are these games that I own physically. I want to be able to play them on my PS5 because, as we know, Sony did take backwards compatibility pretty seriously, going from the PS4 to the PS5, and you do get significant advantages by choosing to play certain PS4 games on the current gen hardware. If you were to go with a digital only console and you had a PS4 collection, well, there's really not much you're going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to play those games on the PS5. If you kept your PS4, you could still play them, but again, that would be without all of the added benefits. We have another user here who got 1,000 upvotes where they say, I'll never own an all-digital console as long as I have the choice. There is literally zero benefit aside from the cheaper initial cost of the console itself. I also don't like the idea of being at the mercy of whatever they decide to charge you on the PlayStation Store. You can never resell games, never borrow them, rent them, or find them for dirt cheap on eBay or other marketplaces. More personally, I also enjoy the physicality of cracking open a game case and swapping discs, and seeing my collection grow on my shelf. I have over 500 physical games from the NES to the PS5 and every major console in between. Now, he adds an edit here where he says, to all the people claiming things like not having to swap the disc or no disc drive producing heat or anything else along those lines is a benefit to buying a digital-only console, I think you are forgetting you can still buy games digitally with a disc PS5. So those things are not benefits to buying a digital-only console. Those are benefits of buying a digital game. There's a difference there, and the benefits of buying a game digitally is not what this discussion is about. We're talking about the console itself. The disc PS5 can do everything the digital PS5 can, only you have additional choices. So yes, there is literally zero benefit to a digital PS5 other than the lower initial cost. Now, I thought that this was the best response in the thread that I could find because this user absolutely hits the nail right on the head with everything they're saying. And he's sure to also refocus the discussion, making it known that this is talking about digital-only consoles that do not offer a disk drive. There is a difference between having a conversation about that versus talking about deciding to go digital only. I think that there are a lot of people who are going to upgrade to the PS5 or who have upgraded to the PS5 who made the decision to go digital only or buy the majority of their games digitally, but they still do like to have the benefit of the disk drive just in case, right? Just in case you do want to go back and play some older PS4 games that maybe you bought previously or that you can get at dirt cheap, right? Or maybe there is that occasional PS5 game that you do want to get at a cheaper price point that is being offered at a steep discount, but only physically. Or if you want to watch 4K Blu-rays. These are all really great reasons to always have a disk drive. And as this user points out, if you choose willingly to opt into a digital-only console without a disk drive, you are severely limiting yourself. You're not getting any long-term benefits. The only benefit you can say you get from doing so is by saving just a little bit of money up front, and in the long run, probably really won't mean anything. Now, something I do want to say here, because I know it sounds like I'm basically trying to beat down the digital-only PS5. The one thing I always said about what Sony is doing with the digital PS5 is what they're doing with the price point. When it comes to value, when it comes to performance, for how much you're paying for that performance, I think that the digital PS5 is unmatched. I know a lot of people look at the Xbox Series S as a great deal and value, and I think it is, definitely. I think the Series S, for what it's offering, is great at that price point. But I think when it's all said and done, the type of power and the type of just performance that you're going to receive for $400, granted, again, you are sacrificing the disc drive. I always said that I thought the digital PS4 was the best bang for your buck when it comes to actually entering the next gen console gaming. I really do believe that, and I still do believe that. But even with that being said, there is the sacrifice of having to go digital only, and I don't know that that's something I could say is worth it. Again, I feel like maybe for very specific individuals it might be, but we do have another user here who says, I own a digital PS5 and love it because I only buy digital games. I do not buy physical games for any of my systems anymore because I hate storing useless discs, but I can afford to buy games digitally without the savings from physical. I do not buy a ton of games and usually wait until something is on sale before I buy it if it's not something I want to play right away. If I was younger and more cash strapped, I think a disc PS5 is the way to go, but as an adult with a well-paying job, the digital PS5 is perfect for me. Everyone's situation is different, so buy accordingly. And I wanted to highlight what this person said as well, because it just goes to show that not everybody feels the same way. There are people who have bought a digital PS5 willingly. They decided to opt into that and they have no problems with it. And so I don't want to, make it sound like you're making a wrong choice, but I do think, again, that there are people who maybe are not initially aware of just how much you're actually losing by choosing to go digital only versus opting to have that disk drive. And yeah, I wanted to kind of go over this, and the thread is really interesting. I'm actually going to have it linked down below. There are a ton more responses that I didn't cover. There's just too many here to cover, but just some really interesting conversation, some really interesting discussion that I hope will kind of carry over into the comment section of this video, because I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say. I'm more interested in hearing from individuals who maybe did decide to buy a digital only PS5. If you are somebody who did decide to go that route, let me know how it's been for you, and maybe you can answer this individual's question. Do you regret buying a digital PS5, or do you not regret it at all? Has it worked out great for you? Let me know down in the comments below. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it somewhat informative. Be sure to leave it a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.